It's Halloween. It's another Halloween video. This is totally for fun. So if you're looking for some serious fragrance reviews, I don't think you're gonna get it in this video. If you're just looking to have some fun, enjoy my company, and talk about some fragrances at Halloween, maybe you're in the right place. I've got 13 haunting Halloween fragrances for you. I was gonna say horrifying fragrances, but I can't say that these 13 are horrifying. If you want to see some potentially horrifying fragrances, I'm going to post a video that's something like 10 nights of terror with frightening fragrances that I did with 10 fragrances in my collection that some people think are super scary. A few of these are scary, but then others are just in the bunch because my criteria for the 13 were the bottle had to remind me of Halloween, the name of the fragrance had to remind me of Halloween, or what's inside had to remind me of Halloween. So what do we think of when we think of Halloween? What words come to mind for you? Please drop a few thoughts in the comments. For me, I think, of course, of dark nights. I think of spooky things. I think of witches and spells and costumes and candy and all sorts of horror movies like Nightmare on Elm Street. What's your favorite horror movie? Mine is, bar none, and I've seen a lot of horror movies. If you're like me, you typically just laugh at horror movies because they're so terribly produced and hard to believe. Like the antics in the movies are just so dumb. But my favorite scary movie is The Shining. It always has been. It terrified me as a kid. Watching it as an adult freaks me out. And the end, when Jack Nicholson is in the snow, like frozen with that look on his face, it haunts me to this day. Red rum. So these are some fragrances that you may want to think about wearing on Halloween or to a Halloween party for one reason or another. And I've got stuff for every kind of mood for Halloween night and for different budgets. So one designer fragrance is Hypnotic Poison from Dior. This is the Eau de Toilette concentration. Thank you, Ceylon Cleo. Her review finally got me to pull the trigger on this because I've watched a million people review this. I've worn it before. I've had it before. I was just resistant to purchasing this because at one point when I was in Ulta trying it out again, it did have that little Play-Doh thing going on, and I was like, I don't know that I need that in my collection, but I have it. This reminds me of something that belongs on the set of a horror movie or like in an old haunted house or in a cathedral somewhere, or in a vampire movie. I just love that it's red on top and the black on the bottom, and that it looks like a poison apple. It does. This is vanilla. This is powdery. This has some almond in it. It's sweet. It has a little bit of coconut in it even. I like it. It's nice and it's soft and it's girly, and I just adore this bottle. So if you're doing like a Little Red Riding Hood look for Halloween, or you want to be a vampiress, or you're the mom from the Addams Family or something, Hypnotic Poison might be a good choice for you. Along the same lines, if you want a vanilla that is maybe sinister but in a different way, you may want to try Aura, the EDP. The Eau de Parfum. The Eau de Toilette is also a great choice for Halloween, but it's to me a lot greener and a little bit more bizarre. This one is very wearable and sexy, if you ask me. Sexy? Who thinks of sexy when they look at this bottle or smell it? I do. It has a little bit of a medicinal thing going on, almost like Pepto-Bismol meets surgical bandages. Like that Band-Aid smell. You mix those two things together, you might get something like what you get in here. Add a bunch of vanilla on top of that and a hint of woodiness. That'll give you an idea of what this smells like. It develops so nicely on the skin. Like if you smell it, Just on paper, it's one thing, and then it goes on the skin and it gets really sexy in the dry down. It's one that my husband really loves on me. He chases me around when I wear this, baby. And it reminds me so much, this bottle, of Maleficent. Maleficent. If you haven't seen that movie, the one where Angelina Jolie plays Maleficent, it's a wonderful movie, so fun for Halloween or any time of year with the kids. Yeah, this fragrance is 2 thumbs up for me. Great if you're dressing up like Maleficent or some other evil kind of character. Maleficent isn't actually evil in the movie, by the way. She's just portrayed as that. Anyway, I won't ruin it for you. You gotta go check it out. Here's one for those of you that may be dressing up like a fairy or some other sort of light character, maybe even like a godmother kind of figure, a fairy godmother, Tinkerbell, anything along those lines. For adults or for young ladies, a wonderful choice would be Lolitaland from Lolita Lempicka. We've talked about this bottle. How cute is that? The deer with the little fairy wings. There is a butterfly on the back and a little flower on the front. Gosh, this is so cute. This fragrance is beautiful. It's soft, it's sugary. It's very light to me. In other words, it's not like a projection monster. It's not beast mode. It's soft and sweet and cloud-like. Delightful. Lolitaland is a good choice if you're going for a character that's supposed to be sweet, light, and airy. Try it out. Along the same lines, but maybe a little bit more grown up. Maybe an adult princess or a queen kind of figure for Halloween. Killer Queen by Katy Perry. And the bottle is another reason that I selected this, because it reminds me so much of like Halloween, gothic things, maybe even in the steampunk meets like cathedral, haunted house. What are you talking about, Veronica? This. I looked for this fragrance for a long time. I searched it down. It was sold out in different places. It's not expensive once you get your hands on it, but this is another sweet and fruity fragrance, but it's deepened up because it's got a plum note, and I think it also has some patchouli in it. Not a lot. It's not a patchouli monster, just enough to deepen it up and make it almost like a grown-up counterpart to Lolita. So daughter maybe can wear this with her little fairy princess costume, and maybe mom can wear this with her queen costume. This fragrance, my only issue with this, I'll be honest with you, is I don't think it lasts very long on my skin. I get a couple of hours out of it at the most, and then it really fades down. If this lasted longer, I would enjoy it. It's a fairly, what people may call a generic smell, and that you've smelled it before, but it doesn't matter. It's still really pretty, and for the price tag, it's kind of hard to beat. Killer Queen by Katy Perry. I have considered selling this. This may be on the chopping block in the future. I don't know, but for now, I'm enjoying it. So if you want something that looks 2 ways, it looks really sweet and innocent, but it could also be really like nefarious and up to no good. It's Passion Eau de Parfum from Armaf. I have not seen anyone talk about this. That doesn't mean there isn't a video out there on it, but it's got this ballerina. By the way, this bottle is horrid, and that's part of what attracted me to it. It was so bad I had to have it, and this is a 3.4 ounce, if you can believe that. But it's from Armaf, and it's got this ASMR. It's got this squishy, styrofoamy, plasticky thing that is just, it's terrible. But that's part of what attracted me to it. So anyway, you've got the beautiful ballerina, and yet it's in this weapon of a bottle. I mean, you could potentially hurt someone. Something awful with this. So it doubles as both sweet and sinister. The smell is deceptively sweet despite how terrifying the bottle is. My goodness, this is sweet and airy and fruity and light and fun. Would I tell you to go run out and buy this? I don't know. I don't think I paid a lot for this, but it's a great fun little scent. It's very flirty and innocent, but it'll get you. You know what I mean? I've got a couple of vampy fragrances for you. I think of like a woman in leather or Catwoman or one of those kinds of outfits that are supposed to be sexy but daring for Halloween. Here are two you might want to consider. One is Jivago, Exotic Night. The bottle alone, if this were part of a painting, I would imagine this little winding road through these fields leading up to the edge of this mountain. And this is a haunted castle, if you will, at the top of these really sharp cliffs where the movie actually happens. It has top notes of Tajitas and Divana, and it has liquor and blackberry in it too. It's deep, it's sensuous, it's sexy, it's for the grown. The grown. I could see someone with a cape wearing something like this. Someone with a total like steampunk outfit in dark wearing this. I could see someone playing like a seductress on Halloween night wearing this as well. I mean, listen, you guys, this comes out of the base. Also a weapon. Beautiful but deadly. Fun but sexy fragrance. And of course, you guys, could you really have a haunting Halloween fragrance video without Black Orchid from Tom Ford? The bottle alone screams Halloween. Ugh. There is nothing else in my entire collection that smells like Black Orchid. This is beguiling, bewitching, puts you under a spell. By the way, not for everyone. There are a lot of people out there that think that Black Orchid is rancid, rank, disgusting, gross, vomit-inducing. I think none of the above. I think that this is a masterpiece of a fragrance, very unique. It has a truffle note at the top, and it's warm, and it's spicy, and it's deep, and it's woody, and it's exotic. I have no words for how much I love this and how beautiful it is. I hated this when I first tried it. I wondered what everyone was so excited about, and why would anyone want to smell so dang strange? But that then became the appeal for me, and it's one of those fragrances that you need to spray on and allow to develop on your skin, and it's divine. So who would wear Black Orchid on Halloween? Again, it could be a woman who's dressed in all black, someone who's trying to portray like a mega millionaire or billionaire that owns the world. Ha 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 ha. That was really ridiculous. But work with me here. That is Black Orchid. Absolutely a stunning fragrance. The next three are in here because the name and something about the bottle reminds me of Halloween, which is fun in and of itself. The fragrances can match some characters too, but here it's more about the name in the bottle. So we've got Prada Moonlight Shadow. This has fig, and it has cumin, and it has leather, and it has cacao. Even a little sandalwood in here. This Moonlight Shadow reminds me of Desert Serenade in the same line. They're both newer to my collection. This one came second. This smells earthy and like fig, so it's got like that sweetness and that greenness and like that coconut hint that fig gives you, and it smells leathery. Just a gorgeous fragrance. I don't think that this is a feminine fragrance. It's not heavily masculine to me, but not so masculine that I can't wear it. It's still got some sweetness, a little bit of sensuality, that cacao in there makes you want to keep sniffing. Really pretty. You get the sandalwood too. Moonlight Shadow from Prada. So one of the things that I associate with Halloween, as I mentioned at the top of the video, are the darkest of dark nights, or conversely, a night that's really lit up by a big, bright, full moon. A fragrance that comes to mind that reminds me of that is Tom Ford's Noir Extreme. Extreme Night. This is a fragrance that I purchased for my husband that he likes, but not quite as much as he likes some others, one of which I'll talk about in a second that he is obsessed with. So I have politely brought this back into my collection because I think that it is beautiful. The bottle's gorgeous. It's like one of these like understated elegance kinds of bottles. This is so woody, warm, and spicy to me. It would make a great like Thanksgiving and holiday fragrance as well, but we're talking about Halloween, beautiful for night if you want to smell exotic at night. So if I'm going as something like a belly dancer, if I'm playing the role of Aladdin or Jasmine, Tom Ford Noir Extreme would be a fabulous choice to smell deep, sexy, spicy. This next one is one of the 3 or 4 fragrances that my husband rotates through over and over again because he's obsessed with it. I was introduced to this by Chris at the Perfume Nest, and she calls it a cowboy fragrance. And I can't get that out of my head, and it's so true. It is Dark Lord by Kilian. Ay, 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 ay. Ugh. This is total rawhide cowboy leather. I'm talking about bull ring, bull riders getting ready to have that door open and that bull's just raging. And they open that door and that bull comes out. Oh my goodness. This is absolute rawhide leather, like the rawest, most carnal, most like mixed with earthy dirt leather. Raw. My husband puts this on and I'm like, you're wearing Dark Lord, aren't you? And I'm like sniffing in his neck the entire time. This is some good stuff, you guys. So if you're going as any character on Halloween that is rough and rugged and raw, total manpower. I mean, this could even be like a Thanos kind of fragrance. Is it Thanos or Thanos? I don't know. You know the character that I'm talking about. Any one of those like Marvel characters. Is he Marvel? Yeah, he's Marvel, right? Dark Lord is your fragrance. Put this on. Totally masculine. Would I ever wear this? Only if I was really trying to get into that kind of character, because this is a man fragrance. Beautiful. The next 3 fragrances I'm going to call my graveyard fragrances because they remind me of the dead in some form or fashion. I know that sounds morbid, but you guys, we're talking about Halloween. Got to have a little bit of morbidity in here. The first one is Moondance from Juliette Has a Gun. Can we say patchouli? So if you look at Fragrantica, it says this has tuberose in it. I do get a little bit of tuberose. Violet, yeah, some of that too, a little bit of rose, but through and through, this is a patchouli bomb. If you like patchouli, you need to get your hands on this, and it's called Moondance. Like, it's a marvelous night for a moon dance. That moon dance. And that moon dance is happening graveside, like in a cemetery. So if you're going as like a gravekeeper or a zombie, someone rising from the dead, Freddy Krueger, any one of those kinds of characters that come out at night and scare the heck out of people, Moondance might be the scent for you. But I've got 2 more for you in this category, so hang on. So one of my favorite movies to watch around Halloween is Sleepy Hollow, the version that Johnny Depp is in. Oh my gosh, how do I love that movie with the Headless Horseman. And I think it was either filmed or the story's supposed to take place in Tarrytown, New York. Is that right? If you're from the Tarrytown area, that place used to do, I don't know if they still do because of COVID and all that, but used to do it up for Halloween. Huge parade, pumpkins, lights, all kinds of decorations. Absolutely fabulous. But back to Sleepy Hollow. What I love about that movie is that almost throughout the entire movie, there's like this mist in the air that creates this fog, right? And the Headless Horseman is traveling through gray evenings and nights, and then he jumps down into a tree and disappears. So if you are playing the Headless Horseman, if you're playing Ichabod Crane, if you're playing any character that has a cape, skeleton makeup on, anything like that, you may want to try Encre Noir from Lalique. This is a woody aromatic fragrance, but it reminds me of like misty, damp forest air. Ah, this would be exquisite for that kind of character. It gives like an edge to whoever's wearing it. You smell good. It's a wonderful smelling fragrance, but it's very earthy and dark and wet. Wet, mossy kind of fragrance. And the name, hello, Encre Noir. But there's another one. This fragrance is the most Halloween-y, Halloween-ish, Halloween-like. It's the scariest of the bunch, you guys. It's coming in at number 13. It deserves that number and all of the superstition around it. Laudano Nero from Tiziana Terenzi. I struggled with whether to get this because the reviews on this are all over the place. You've got folks that think it is a masterpiece, and you have others that think this should be burned and never smelled by anyone ever again. Oh my God. This knocks me out in both an amazing and horrifying way when I first smell it. I think that in its own right, this is an amazing fragrance, but it is terrifying and I don't know when I'm gonna wear it. It reminds me of, you know, the video for Thriller by Michael Jackson, where it starts off with the line, "The funk of 40,000 years." This is the funk of 40,000 years. This is what mummy farts probably smell like. And I stole that idea from a fragrance friend here who talked about a fragrance that she hated smelling like mummy farts. Mummy farts up in here, y'all. Here's the thing, like, look at the notes on this. You get cognac, tobacco, wormwood, there's ash, there is slate, agarwood, incense. So I'm gonna tell y'all, ladies, lean in close. Don't buy this. Unless you are super adventurous and you want to smell like a vampire of some kind. Whew. Yeah. Yeah. Halloween in a bottle, you guys. This is smoky. This is earthy. This smells like a little bit like church incense mixed with rotten plums. It's all those things, and I'm gonna wear it. I am going to wear it, I promise you, one day, but not today. Maybe on Halloween, maybe on a night when I want to scare off intruders. Laudano Nero. What are you gonna be wearing this Halloween? What's your costume if you're dressing up? And what fragrance are you gonna match with it? I can't wait to hear what you have to say. Drop me some thoughts in the comments. Thanks so much for having a little bit of fun with me and not taking this so seriously. I appreciate you. Have a lot of Reese's peanut butter cups on Halloween night. Take care, friends.